And so the time has finally arrived. The time for me to buy my first car. Because although I've driven a number of vehicles before, including of course the very nice BMW i8 Roadster, which I reviewed not too long ago, I didn't own those cars. So what did I choose to get as my first vehicle? Some economical little diesel with a 1-litre engine perhaps? No, of course not. This is the creator of Unsung Heroes we're talking about. I bought a Volkswagen Touareg, and not just any Touareg. This is the last of the first shape V10 TDI twin-turbo Touaregs, which has the capacity of a Lamborghini Gallardo, the cylinder amount of a Dodge Viper, the power of an R33 Skyline, the torque of a Nissan GTR, and the practicality of an SUV, which to me is pretty much a perfect car across the board. As many of you know, my dream car is the Ferrari FF, which has a lot of those similarities. I love it when a car has genuine great performance and excellent practicality, and when it comes to buying a car, I'm not the kind of person who likes to show off how much I paid for something. I'm actually the kind of person who likes to show off what bargain I got. In other words, how little I paid for so much spec and so much power. Because this very Touareg cost me just under $5,000. But for $5,000, you get a whole lot of car. All-wheel drive, locking diffs, automatic gearbox, aircon, cruise control, and of course that pretty impressive 5-litre twin-turbo diesel V10. I know a lot of you guys aren't into diesels, but you probably know if you've been around on the channel for some time that I am. I love high-performance diesels, everything from the Touareg V10 to the Audi Q7 V12 to, of course, the Peugeot 908 and the Audi Le Mans winning diesel prototypes. I wish there were more high-performance diesels. I wish somebody would actually make a production diesel supercar, but nobody seems to want that, even though the Audi R8 concept with that diesel engine was a pretty nice car, all things considered. So in terms of the spec sheet, this car has, as I said, 5-litre twin-turbo V10, 310 horsepower, 550 pound-feet of torque, and it's one of those cars which falls into a funny position where it doesn't sound that quick on paper. About 7.5 seconds to 60 sounds more like hot hatch territory, so for something with such a big engine, is that really any good? Having driven the BMW i8 Roadster, which is considerably quicker than this, 4.5 seconds to 60 is a whole lot faster, the funny thing is, this actually feels like a quicker car. A lot quicker, in fact. The all-wheel drive makes the launch off the line fantastic, the massive, relentless, effortless torque, of course, which the BMW doesn't have, and most petrol cars don't have for that matter, even sports cars. And the fact that the car is so tall, that it has this air suspension set up where the back ducks down, the front raises under heavy throttle, it just makes it feel even quicker than it is. And it ain't exactly slow. You can burn off most other cars on the road with this thing, while simultaneously maintaining a very respectable 35 miles per gallon, which for a car with a 5-litre twin-turbo V10 is pretty good as far as I'm concerned. It's got a 22-gallon tank, which is 100 litres, so fuel range is around 600 miles. At least. So again, that's pretty good. It isn't a cheap car to fill up, that's for sure, but the fuel economy is pretty good for what it is, I would say. And of course, at the end of the day, I did not buy this car because it was the most affordable thing around, because even though the price is very good, the insurance is fairly expensive. But at the end of the day, I'm 25 years old and it's my first car, so of course it's going to be expensive. No claims bonus makes all the difference, and I don't have that yet. The tax is also very high, and of course I really hope that nothing goes wrong with it, because repairing a car that was £60,000 when it was new ain't gonna be cheap, that's for sure. So I am in the very fortunate position where I don't need the car, because as I said, I don't commute, I do work from home, so if the car does have some catastrophic failure, it isn't the end of the world. It will be a major inconvenience, of course, but if the worst comes to the worst, I don't even need to repair it. I could just sell it on for spares or repairs and move on to something else instead. But All in all, I love the car so far. I hope you guys like it as well. I know many of you do, many of you like cars like this, and it's the exact kind of thing that we talk about on the channel. Sleeper cars, these more oddball approaches to performance, and it doesn't get that much more oddball than a twin-turbo diesel SUV with the kind of spec that would usually be in like an exotic. Not across the board, of course, because 13 years changes performance cars a lot, so in some ways it feels its age, but in other ways it actually doesn't. And as far as the visuals go, I think it looks amazingly good for a car that's 13 years old. The condition is fantastic. The previous owner was an older guy who didn't have any kids in it. He never used it to tow anything, so it's had a very easy life. And for £5,000, I actually got it for quite a lot less than what it was valued at, which was closer to £8,000. And you can easily pay that for anything from 2004 to even the facelifted 2007 shaped Touareg V10. So overall, I'm very happy with it. I always knew that my first car would have to be something that I was really proud of, that I absolutely loved, that was of course affordable in a general sense, but not just something for the sake of being on the road. I was never one of those kids, even when I was 16 or 17, where I just wanted to get on the road by any means necessary and get some tatty, cheap little classic car just for the sake of driving. That's never been my style. I would much rather wait a little bit longer, get something when the insurance has dropped, and of course being 25 it drops significantly even without any experience, and something which I didn't just want to, treat like an idiot or ding up in the first year, or, just sell on as soon as I could to get the next better thing. Because when you start with the Touareg V10, well, I would say that's starting pretty well. So I'm still currently doing, for those who are wondering, my motorbike side of things, doing my bike lessons. I already passed my CBT, but I'm probably going to take it a bit easier on the motorbike side of things because initially I wasn't sure if I wanted a bike or a car first. And even when it came to the car, I actually found this car very recently, and I went from finding it to buying it within the same day. And one of the reasons why is because it was so close. Most Touaregs are 100 to 200 miles away. This one, on the other hand, was only 5 miles away from my house, so it was perfect to go and take a look at the car. There's a couple of more minor cosmetic issues with the car, but nothing that isn't easy to repair, and nothing that actually at the moment I need to worry about at all, because the guy who sold it to me said that he'll cover anything that breaks on it anyway. So he's confident in the car. From what I've seen, I'm very impressed with the car. It drives well, and it's got full service history as well. So across the board for a car of its age, you can't really ask for anything more. And for those who may be wondering, and chances are that's probably quite a few of you, yes, I will be doing a BMW i8 style review for the car in the Beards and Cars review series, because of course this video is more just announcing what my first car is, whereas that video will be more dedicated to the overview of the vehicle and looking at it not from necessarily just an owner's point of view, but the more objective view like I did with the BMW. So overall, that's it for my announcement really of the car. We'll get to my thoughts on it in a more objective sense in the future, probably sometime in the coming week, and I hope you guys like it. I certainly do, and until next time, I'll see you then. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.